I still remember that night like it happened last week. I had just come back from my shift, dragging myself into my old Brooklyn apartment like a man running on fumes. You know how it is. New York doesn't care if you're young, old, tired, or broke. The city just keeps moving, and you either keep up or get swallowed whole. At 60 years old, trust me, keeping up ain't as easy as it used to be. I kicked off my shoes, tossed my jacket on the chair, and let out one of those long, heavy sighs that come from a day that's been way too long. Ate a quick sandwich, flipped through the channels, and finally crashed on my creaky bed. My body felt like it had been run over by a yellow cab. I didn't know it back then, but someone else had plans for my night plans I definitely wasn't invited to. Outside my window, the streets were quiet, but that kind of silence in New York always feels suspicious, like the city's holding its breath before something goes down. I didn't stay awake long enough to notice anything strange. I just knocked out completely. Or it would be another unremarkable day. But that night was the one that flipped everything upside down. Welcome to Asterisk Truth Stories Asterisk. Where are you watching from? Drop in the comments. I'd love to know where my viewers are tuning in from. You, even a little. Asterisk, hit that sub button, asterisk. More real stories coming your way. Easy thing is, nothing about that evening felt off. Little. Brooklyn nights can be loud, full of sirens and people are walk. But that night was quiet in a way that didn't feel normal. Like the whole block timeout. Don't think too much of it, though. When you're wiped out, your brain doesn't care about it. I remember waking up a split second because it made that weird clanking noise. Old news come with personality, broken tiles, doors, and they're communicating with ghosts. Buckled, rolled over, and again, thinking. But looking back, that wasn't the sound I should have paid attention. Somewhere around mid, the air felt different. Get that vibe. It's off, but you can't put your finger on it. I swear, it felt like someone else was in my space. Moving, not to asterisk. But I brushed it off, telling myself I was being paranoid. At my age, you wake up at night because your back hurts, not because danger's lurking in your living room. My building was old, but secure, so I thought. I'd lived there for nearly 30 years without anything major happening. Folks in the neighborhood looked out for each other. Most of us were just regular people trying to make it through the grind. Little did I know, while I slept like a rock, somebody was already inside my apartment, planning to walk out with my entire life savings. New York has this funny habit of putting to sleep. The lights dim, the traffic slows, and the streets get quieter. But trust me, this city never really knocks out. There's always somebody awake, hustling, sneaking, plotting, or just straight up doing something sketchy. And that night, someone had their eyes locked on my place. I was out cold, and later, the cops told me the guy had been watching behavior. The kind of dude who blends into the night like he's part of the brick wall. Around 12:45 a.m., the city was doing that hush thing it does before the bars spill out. No footsteps in the hallway, no drunk neighbors yelling, not even the usual late-night arguments from the couple downstairs. Just quiet. Too quiet. The type of quiet that hits different in a city that never shuts up. If I hadn't been so tired, maybe I would have noticed the subtle stuff, the slight draft, coming from the kitchen window, the way my bedroom door wasn't fully closed or that thump that sounded way too heavy to be the building settling. But nope, like a man who trusted his world. I didn't know someone was sneaking inches away from everything I'd saved in 60 long years. Didn't know he had a plan. Didn't know he was already inside. And the worst part? He thought I'd never wake up. I must have been dead asleep when it happened. because the first sound didn't fully wake me. It just nudged my brain like a tiny tap on the shoulder. It wasn't loud, but it sure as hell wasn't normal. It sounded like something metal brushing against wood. Not the radiator, not the pipes, not the old fridge that groans like it's on its last leg. Something else. Half awake, I cracked one eye open, thinking maybe one of my neighbors was messing around. You know how old buildings are. Every sound travels like it's got free rent. But this noise, this one came from inside my apartment. My kitchen, to be exact. For a second, I froze. You ever get that weird gut feeling, like your stomach drops for no reason? That's exactly what hit me. My instincts whispered, Yo, something's off. But my tired body countered. Bro, you're imagining things. Go back to sleep. I lay there, listening. Silence. Like the noise packed its bags and dipped. I almost convinced myself I was being dramatic for no reason. But right when I turned on my side, ready to crash again, the sound came back, this time sharper. Like someone accidentally bumped into the corner of my cabinet and tried to play it cool. That did it. My eyes snapped open, full alert. My heartbeat kicked up, thumping like a bass speaker. The kind of adrenaline you don't usually feel at 60. I didn't know what was happening yet, but I knew one thing for sure. I lay there, holding my breath like I was trying not to exist. The apartment was dark, quiet, and way too still. Until I heard it. Footsteps. Not loud ones, more like someone trying real hard to tiptoe without making noise. But when you've lived in the same place for decades, you know exactly how your floor sounds. Every loose board, every creak, every soft pop. And these footsteps? Yeah, they weren't mine. At first, I thought maybe it was the guy from upstairs messing around. But nope, these steps were close. Inside my apartment close. My heart started beating like it was trying to punch its way out of my chest. My mouth went dry. For a split second, I wondered if I was dreaming. But the sound was way too real. Someone was in my living room. In my space. Moving slow, like they were scoping the place out. I sat up a little, careful not to make a noise. My body felt heavy, stiff, but adrenaline kept me from freezing up completely. The city outside was quiet, but inside my home, danger was walking around like it paid the rent. I could hear him breathing soft, shaky, the kind of breathing someone does when they're trying not to get caught. That's when it hit me. This wasn't some junkie looking for a warm corner. This dude had a plan, a mission, a target. And my brain whispered the ugliest thought I could imagine. He's here for my savings. The money I spent my whole damn life putting together. I knew I couldn't just sit there. I had to move. Had to do something. I slid to the edge of my bed, trying not to let the old mattress squeak. That thing makes noise if you even think about moving. But somehow, luck was on my side. The footsteps had paused like the dude froze, listening for any sign that I was awake. My heart was pounding so loud I swear it could have blown my cover. I leaned forward just enough to peek through the crack of my bedroom door. The hallway was dark, but the faint glow from the street lamp outside spilled just enough light for me to see a shadow moving across my living room wall. Slow, careful, like he was trying to memorize every inch of my space. That's when reality hit me like a punch to the gut. There was a full-grown stranger inside my apartment, moving like he owned the joint. I could see his silhouette now, tall and thin, hood pulled up, shoulders tense. He kept glancing over his shoulder like he expected someone to burst out at him. Dude looked nervous, but also determined. That's a dangerous combo. My first instinct was to grab my phone, except it was charging on the kitchen counter. Yeah, right, where he was. Great, I whispered to myself. Just perfect. I scanned my room for anything I could use. Baseball bat? Nope. Knife? Didn't keep one in the bedroom. Closest thing I had was my old wooden walking stick leaning against the wall. Not ideal, but hey, at 60, that was basically my version of a lightsaber. I wrapped my hand around it, feeling the weight. If this guy wanted trouble, he was about to get some. I gripped that old wooden stick like it was the only friend I had left in the world. My hands were shaking, not from fear, but from pure adrenaline. At 60, you don't expect to be squaring up with a stranger in your own living room at 1 in the morning. But here I was, ready to defend everything I had. I watched the shadow drift toward the far corner of the room toward that asterisk drawer. The cheap little metal one I bought from a discount store years ago. The one no one paid attention to because it looked like trash. The one with asterisk, my entire life savings asterisk tucked inside. $50,000. My whole grind, my whole hustle, every overtime shift, all stuffed in an ugly drawer that rattled every time you pulled it open. And this dude, this clown, went straight for it. That's when I realized this wasn't random. He knew exactly where he was going. He crouched down, moving slow, like he'd rehearsed the whole thing. I could see him tugging on the edge of the drawer, testing if it was locked. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. I always figured nobody would look twice at that thing. Guess I figured wrong. My throat tightened. I wanted to shout right there, "Back off, bro." But I held it. Timing mattered. One wrong move and I'd end up on the floor, and not in a peaceful sleeping grandpa kind of way. He started sliding the drawer open, metal scraping softly, like nails on my nerves. That was it. I couldn't just watch anymore. I had to step out ready or not. I stepped out of my bedroom doorway slow, keeping my breathing steady. My stick felt heavier than usual, like it knew what was about to go down. The thief didn't hear me, yet dude was too busy rummaging through the drawer like it was a Black Friday sale. He thought I was knocked out cold for the night. Big mistake. From where I stood, I could see the back of him. Skinny guy, maybe late 20s, wearing a hoodie 2 sizes too big and sneakers that looked like they'd been through a war. He moved quick, hands shaking, muttering under his breath like he was stressing hard. Not the calm criminal type, more like a desperate one. He pulled out the small bundle of envelopes. I kept my money in and froze when he felt the weight. You know that feeling when someone finds exactly what they came for? Yeah, that spark lit up in his posture. He almost whispered, "Jackpot," like he'd won the lottery. That's when anger hit me. Not the loud, yelling kind. The cold kind that grabs your spine and tightens everything. This punk really thought he could walk into my home, my space, and just dip with my whole life savings like I was some clueless old man snoring away. Nah, not tonight. I took one step forward and the floor creaked. Just a tiny sound, but enough. The guy froze. His shoulders lifted. His head turned slowly, like a horror movie moment. And when his eyes met mine, he looked like he'd just seen a ghost. The moment his eyes locked with mine, time legit froze. It felt like one of those movie scenes where everything slows down and the bass drops. His face went pale, instantly, like he'd just realized he broke into the wrong damn apartment. Dude looked shook, not scared. Terrified. I stood there gripping my stick, jaw tight, breathing steady. "Yo," I said, voice low, "put that down." My tone surprised even. Calm, like a man who'd snapped past fear and landed in pure survival mode. The guy didn't move at first. His fingers twitched around the envelopes, like he was debating whether to run, fight, or pass out on the spot. His hood fell back a little, and I could see the sweat dripping down his forehead. He wasn't some mastermind. Criminal, this kid looked like life had chewed him up and spit him out. I didn't know you were awake," he stuttered, voice shaky. No kidding, I shot back. You thought I was dead or what? He swallowed hard, eyes darting around like he was looking for an exit that didn't exist. The only way out was behind me, and trust me, I wasn't moving aside like some doorman. He lifted his hand slowly, envelope still in his grip. Look, man, I just needed the money, all right? Just let me go, I won't come back. Yeah, right. I've heard that line 1,000 times in this city. I took one step forward, tapping the stick on the floor. That's my life you're holding, I said. Ain't no way you're walking out with it. His breathing got louder, faster. He knew things were about to get real messy. Standing there in the dark, facing some desperate dude half my age, reality hit me hard. Fear ain't the same when you're in your 20s. You feel invincible back then. But when you're pushing 60, fear hits different. It crawls up your back, squeezes your lungs, and whispers. Asterisk, one wrong move and you're done, old man. Asterisk. But here's the thing. I wasn't about to let this punk snatch my whole life's grind. Not after all the busted knuckles, double shifts, sleepless nights, and dead-end jobs that built that stash. No way. He started pacing slowly, like a cornered animal, eyes flicking toward the window he broke in through. Tiny shards of glass were still crunching under his sneakers. One wrong step, and he could slip part of me, wished he would. Look, man, I'm not trying to hurt you, he blurted, voice shaky. Just back up, all right? I almost laughed. Asterisk back up? Me? In my own apartment? Yeah, okay. I tightened my grip on the stick, raising it just slightly. Drop the money, kid. I'm not a skin twice. He flinched like the words themselves slapped him. I can't, he whispered. You don't get it, I need this. Oh, trust me, I said. I get needing money. I just don't steal it. For a second, he looked at me, really looked. And something in his eyes changed. Fear? Shame? Or the realization that I wasn't bluffing. But before I could read it, he inhaled sharply and bolted straight at me. The second he lunged, instinct took over. I swung that old wooden stick like I was Babe Ruth at the World Series, except my aim wasn't exactly championship level. The stick sliced through the air, but the kid ducked under it with that quick, young reflex speed I haven't had since the Clinton administration. He brushed past me, shoulder slamming mine hard enough to make me stumble. Dude moved fast, way faster than I expected for someone trembling a minute ago. Panic gives people superpowers, I guess. But I wasn't about to let him run off with my cash. Hey, I barked, spinning around. Get your ass back here. He sprinted toward the hallway like a roach when the lights turn on. I swung again, this time catching the back of his hoodie. Not enough to stop him, but enough to throw him off balance. He tripped forward, hit the wall with a loud thud, cursed under his breath, then kept scrambling like a man trying to escape a burning building. Drop the damn money, I yelled, voice cracking from the adrenaline. He didn't. If anything, he gripped the envelopes tighter, like they were oxygen tanks and he was drowning. My chest was burning, my knees screaming, but I chased him anyway. 60 or not, nobody steals from me and dips like some wild raccoon. He slipped into the living room, knocking over a lamp and sending it crashing to the floor. The whole place lit up for a second, just enough for me to see the fear on his face. And then he made the dumbest move possible. He ran straight toward the broken window. He sprinted toward that busted window like it was his, personal exit sign glowing in the dark. Glass shards sparkled on the floor, catching what little light came through from the street lamps outside. The cold night air pushed in, making the curtains flutter like they were warning him not to be stupid. But desperate people don't listen to warnings. Yo, stop, I shouted, chasing after him even though my knees were yelling at me to retire from hero duty forever. Dude didn't even look back. He was locked in fight or flight mode, heavy on the flight. He tried to hop through the window in one clean move, but reality had other plans. His sneaker caught on the jagged frame, and he stumbled hard, smacking his elbow against the wall. "Damn it!" he hissed, sounding more annoyed than hurt. I reached out, grabbing the back of his hoodie again, this time with a tighter grip. For a second, just a split second, I thought I had him. Thought I could yank him back in, take back my money, call the cops, and end this nightmare before sunrise. But the kid twisted like he was made of rubber. He slipped right out of the hoodie, leaving me holding the damn thing like a prize I never asked for. "Are you kidding me?" I muttered. He stuffed the envelopes down his pants, climbed halfway through the window, and shot me one last look, fear mixed with something else. Guilt, maybe. Then he dropped to the fire escape and disappeared down the metal stairs, like a stray cat that knew all the shortcuts. The cold wind hit my face, reality settling in. He was gone, and so was my life savings. For a good 10 seconds, I just stood there at the window, hoodie in my hand, breathing like I'd just run a marathon with no warm-up. My heart was thumping so loud it felt like the neighbors could hear it through the walls. But once the shock wore off, the rage kicked in. "Ain't no way this kid is getting away that easy," I muttered. I rushed out of my apartment and into the hallway, not even caring that I was wearing old sweatpants and mismatched socks. When your life savings is sprinting down a fire escape, fashion ain't exactly the priority. The hallway smelled like old pizza and someone's burnt midnight snack, the usual New York apartment aroma. I barreled down toward the stairwell, gripping my stick like I was about to challenge somebody to a duel. As I hit the stairs, I could hear the metal clang of the fire escape echoing from. Outside dude was making his getaway fast. My building's stairwell is the kind where every step sounds like a gunshot. I tried to go down quietly at first, but that lasted all of 2 seconds. My knees cracked, my stick tapped, and the railing rattled like it was held together with duct tape. When I reached the ground floor, I shoved the door open so hard it smacked the wall. I stepped outside just in time to catch a glimpse of him running down the alley, clutching his waistband like his pants were about to drop. "Hey, stop, you little punk," I yelled. He didn't stop. If anything, he ran faster. And just like that, the chase was officially on. The motel room smelled like old carpet and bad choices, but it was the only place we could crash without drying eyes. Kevin locked the door, triple-checked it, and then slid down the wall like he'd just run a marathon with no finish line. I tossed my bag on the bed, pacing like some wired-up New Yorker who just had 3 bodega coffees in a row. My nerves were fried, and every shadow in that dusty room looked like it was ready to jump us. Kevin finally spoke, voice shaky. "Look, I didn't tell you everything." Great. Classic Kevin. Dude always drops bombs when we're already knee-deep in chaos. I shot him that asterisk on single quotes T-play with dash me asterisk look. "Bro, spit it out. No more half-truths." He rubbed his face hard. "The guy chasing us? He's not just some random goon. He's connected. Heavy. Real heavy. He runs things in parts of Queens and Brooklyn. People don't even say his name out loud." My stomach dropped. "You're telling me we're beefing with a dude who basically runs a whole chunk of New York?" Kevin nodded, and he thinks I stole something from him. Something big. Something valuable. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because my brain was breaking. "Kev, you always said you don't even steal Wi-Fi." He turned toward me, eyes full of a fear I'd never seen on him. "I didn't steal anything. I found something. By accident. And now he wants it back." The room went silent, like the world paused. And for the first time, I realized we might really be in over our heads. Kevin reached into his backpack like he was digging for a lifeline, hands shaking so hard the zipper sounded louder than the traffic outside. He pulled out a small black flash drive. Nothing special. Nothing fancy. Just a regular piece of tech you'd buy at a gas station. But the way he held it, bro looked like he was holding a live grenade. This is what he wants, Kevin whispered. I stepped closer. You gotta be kidding me. All this heat over a thumb drive? What's on it? New York's secret pizza recipe. He didn't laugh. Not even a smirk. That's when I knew it was bad. I found it at the docks, he said. Remember that night I told you I was helping Mike with a delivery run? Well, the drop wasn't normal. Guys were acting mad sketchy. And when the crate fell open, this thing slid out. I raised a brow. And instead of minding your business like a normal dude, you pocketed it? Bro, I thought it was nothing. He snapped. But when I got home and plugged it in, that's when everything blew up. My chest tightened. What did you see? He hesitated long enough to make my skin crawl. Names, payoffs, locations. Dirty money moving through half the city. Cops, politicians, gang heads. All tied together. It's like some real-life movie-level corruption. I froze. Kev, that's the kind of stuff people disappear over. He nodded slowly, eyes glossy. Yeah. And now they think I'm trying to expose them. The weight of his words hit me hard. We weren't just running anymore. We were targets. Morning hit like a wet ray cold, and the kind of EMY morning that makes you question every life choice. I shuffled into the precinct with my hoodie still smelling like the warehouse, eyes gritty from no sleep. The front desk cop gave me that look like, buddy, you look like you slept in a subway car. I tried to keep it together. My hands still felt clammy from the chase. Here to file a report, I told the board dispatcher. She tapped her keys slow, like my story was another Tuesday in a city full of bad Tuesdays. I explained what happened broke in. Missing cash, kid ran off, shadows. The whole cinematic mess. The room hummed with fluorescent lights and other people's problems. An older officer finally took me in, his face folding up like a map. He listened, but his eyes kept wandering to the clock. We'll look into it. He said same line, different day. I felt that old sting of being dismissed, like the city thought I wanted attention. I tried not to sound desperate, but my voice cracked when I mentioned the 50 grand. You sure you got proof? He asked. Receipts? Bank records? Like cash in a drawer was invisible. I showed him the hoodie with a tear. The walking stick scuff marks on the floor, small stuff, but real. He scribbled my info with a pen that had seen better decades. As I left, the officer lowered his voice and said, keep your phone on. And be careful. Not reassuring. Just a warning dressed as advice. Walking out of that precinct, I felt less safe than when I walked in. Kevin was pacing so hard across my living room. Floor that the old wooden. Boards sounded like they were begging for mercy. I kept peeking through the blinds every few seconds, scanning the quiet New York street like I expected it to explode. The city was never silent, but that night, it felt way too calm, like the block itself knew something ugly was coming. Then 3 soft knocks. Not loud, not aggressive, but the kind that makes your stomach drop, because only someone confident knocks like that. Kevin froze. Bro, don't open it. My heartbeat was punching my ribs. Relax, could be the neighbor. Yeah, right? He said. At 2:40 a.m. On a Tuesday? Stop playing. He wasn't wrong. I walked toward the door anyway, steps slow, breathing shallow. I didn't open it, just called out. Who is it? A man's voice answered, calm as ice. Officer Daniels, NYPD. We need to talk. My blood ran cold. Not because of the name, but because of the way he said it. Kevin mouthed, asterisk, don't trust him, asterisk. But before I could respond, the officer added, we're not here to arrest you. We're here to keep you alive. Yeah, Nobody from the NYPD uses lines like that unless things are seriously messed up. I cracked the door just an inch, enough to see a badge, a vest, and eyes that looked like they hadn't slept in weeks. "Let me in," he said quietly. "You two idiots just stepped into something way bigger than you think." I glanced at Kevin. He nodded barely. And that's how we let the one cop we weren't supposed to trust walk straight into our house. Officer Daniels leaned forward, elbows on his knees, like he was about to drop some FBI-level tea. Kevin sat stiff beside me, clutching that flash drive like it was his newborn child. The room felt tight air, thick, like New York humidity even though the heater was barely running. Daniels took a deep, tired breath. "All right, listen up. You two are in way deeper than you realize. The people looking for you, they don't negotiate. They don't warn. They just clean up problems." "Great," I muttered. "So we're basically walking dead men?" He shot me a look. "Not if you play it smart." Kevin frowned. "What does that even mean?" Daniels leaned closer, voice dropping. "I can get you a deal, something unofficial. Something that doesn't exist on paper. But if you take it, there's no backing out." Bro, that sounded shady as hell. Like the kind of thing that ends with a body floating in the Hudson. "What kind of deal?" I asked. Daniels tapped the flash drive. "You hand this over. Every file. Every name. And in return, I move you out of the city. New IDs. Clean start. But you disappear. For good." Kevin shook his head instantly. "Nah, man. That's crazy. I didn't steal this just to run away like some scared kid." Daniels stared at him, jaw tight. "And if you don't, they'll find you. And trust me, the guys behind this don't miss twice." I swallowed hard. My brain was screaming. Run? Fight? Trust a cop who probably wasn't even clean himself? Kevin whispered, "Bro, what do we do?" And for the first time that night, I didn't have a single damn answer. The room was silent, too silent. Kevin kept staring at the flash drive like it was burning through his hand. Lips crossed, eyes sharp, like he already knew we weren't going to give him the answer he wanted. "Yo, Kev," I whispered. "Maybe we should chill and think about this. This whole thing is getting way too wild." He shook his head. "Bro, I'm not handing over proof of corruption just so we disappear like ghosts. That's not how I roll." Daniel sighed, rubbing his forehead. "You're not listening. These people play dirty. Once they get to you, it's game over. No second chances. No heroic endings." Before Kevin could snap back, a loud asterisk thud asterisk hit the side of the house. Then another, like someone testing the walls. Daniels jumped to his feet instantly, pulling out his gun. "Get away from the windows now." My heart went full New York subway mode, fast, loud, and nonstop. Kevin scrambled behind the couch. "Bro, tell me that was a raccoon or something." Daniels shook his head. "Raccoons don't move in formation." Formation? That word alone made my stomach twist. Then the lights cut out. Total blackout. "All right, Elmo," I muttered. "This is some movie-level nonsense." Daniels hissed, "Listen to me. Your choice doesn't matter anymore. They found you. We heard footsteps outside the door, slow, confident, heavy, like the kind of footsteps that belong to men who already know they're going to win." Kevin's voice cracked. "Bro, this is it, isn't it?" I grabbed his shoulder. "Not tonight. Not if we move smart." Daniels nodded, weapon raised. "We're not dying in this living room. Follow me. Now." And just like that, the decision we couldn't make was made for us. Daniels moved fast, too fast for a man who claimed he was off duty. He pointed toward the kitchen with his gun. "Back door. Move quiet. No stupid hero stuff." Kevin and I followed, trying not to breathe too loud. Outside, the footsteps got closer, like they were circling the house. You could feel the danger in the air, thick and sharp like New York winter wind. As we reached the kitchen, another knock hit the front door. This one loud, violent, the kind that screams asterisk, we're coming in whether you like it or not. Asterisk. Kevin whispered, "Bro, they're really here. This ain't no prank." I grabbed his arm. "Keep it together, man. We're not dying in our pajamas." Daniels cracked open the back door just an inch and peeked outside. Two men near the fence, armed. "We gotta move now or we're boxed in." "Move where?" I whispered. He pointed to the left. "There's an alley behind the neighbor's garage. If we reach it, I can call backup real backup. The kind that actually shows up." Kevin grumbled. "You better not be bluffing, officer." Daniels glared at him. "Kid, if I was bluffing, you'd already be a headline." We slipped out one by one. The cold slapped my face like New York attitude, rude and immediate. As we crept along the fence, I heard a voice from the front yard. "They're still inside." "Kick the door." My heart dropped. Daniels whispered harshly, "Run. Don't look back." So we ran barefoot, half awake, adrenaline pumping like crazy down a dark alley behind houses that suddenly felt like strangers. The night wasn't quiet anymore. The night was hunting us. The alley was cold, narrow, and smelled like every New York trash bin mixed together. But right then it felt like our only ticket to staying alive. Kevin was breathing hard, shoes slapping the pavement like he was sprinting for the subway before the doors close. I kept glancing over my shoulder, expecting shadows to explode behind us. Daniels whispered harshly, "Stay low. They've got shooters on the street." Shooters. Great. Just the word I needed to hear at 3 a.m. We ducked behind a dumpster that looked like it had survived 10 winters and 5 riots. Kevin peeked out. "Bro, I swear someone's back there." I checked too, just for a split second enough to see a tall silhouette moving fast, flashlight cutting through the dark like a blade. "Yep," I muttered. "That's definitely not DoorDash." Daniels pulled out a small radio, clicked it twice, then spoke in a low voice I'd never heard from him before, dead serious. "Military level. Unit 6, this is D. I need eyes on Maple Alley now." "Repeat. Now." Static answered him. "No backup yet." Kevin clenched his jaw. "Bro, why aren't they responding? Isn't backup supposed to actually back us up?" Daniels didn't answer. That was answer enough. Footsteps echoed behind us, closer, heavier. Someone whispered, "They're in the alley. Spread out." "Oh, hell no." Daniel's voice went sharp. "You two move toward the end of the alley. Keep right. If they get a clean shot at you, it's over." We hesitated. He shoved us lightly. "Go." So we ran again, hearts trying to leap out of our chests. The alley lights flickering above us like they were scared too. Behind us came the sound we dreaded, a gun being cocked. The night was about to erupt. The second I heard that gun cock, my soul almost left my body. Kevin and I sprinted down the alley like two dudes who just realized life was way too short for this kind of nonsense. The cold air sliced my lungs, my legs burned. But stopping wasn't an option, not unless we wanted to get turned into headlines. Behind us, someone yelled, "There! Don't let them get out." Then, asterisk, asterisk, pop, pop. 2 shots ripped through the night. "Bro, they're shooting for real." Kevin screamed, ducking so low he was basically running like a cartoon character. A bullet smacked the brick wall next to me, sending dust in my face. I swear I aged 10 years in that 1 second. Daniel shouted, "Keep moving. Don't stop unless you want a toe tag." We reached the end of the alley where it split left and right, both ways darker than my rent situation. "Which way?" Kevin yelled. Daniels didn't even look. Alley FT. We turned left and immediately ran into a chain-link fence taller than a prison wall. "You have got to be kidding me." Kevin slapped the metal. "Bro, we're cooked. We're straight up cooked. More footsteps thundered behind us. Daniels pushed Kevin upward. "Climb, now!" Kevin scrambled up like a panicked squirrel, sneakers slipping, fingers shaking. I followed, arms burning, heart in my throat. A flashlight beam hit us. "One's on the fence. Take him down." Another gunshot fired loud, sharp, too close. Kevin screamed, "Bro, hurry up." I didn't even feel my hands anymore, but somehow I pulled myself over. Daniels jumped last fast, clean, experienced. We hit the ground on the other side hard, rolled, and Daniels growled, "Run, they're not done." And we sprinted into the unknown darkness, praying the night didn't swallow us whole.
We tore through the dark like three dudes who had absolutely zero interest in becoming chalk outlines. My legs were shaking, lungs burning, but adrenaline kept dragging me forward. Kevin stumbled twice, almost face-planted once, but every time he got back up like the sidewalk owed him money. After what felt like a full marathon, Daniels pointed toward a massive, beat-up warehouse at the edge of the block. No lights, no signs, just a giant metal building that looked abandoned or haunted. Honestly, either one was fine if it meant not getting shot. "This way," Daniels hissed. Kevin gasped. "Bro, that place looks like every horror movie combined." "Yeah," I said. "You want to go back to the guys with guns?" He skipped the debate. Daniels yanked open a side door that screeched like it hadn't been touched in 10 years. Inside, nothing but darkness and the smell of rust and old oil. I whispered, "You sure this is safe?" Daniels shut the door and locked it. "Safe? No? Safer than the street?" "Absolutely." We moved deeper inside until we were swallowed by the shadows. The place was huge. Rows of empty shelves, old forklifts, broken crates, dust floating everywhere. Kevin leaned against a pillar, chest heaving. "Bro, I swear my heart is doing parkour right now." I listened. Outside, the footsteps had stopped. The night went eerily quiet again. Too quiet. Daniels lowered his voice. "They're searching, but they don't know you doubled back. Bought us a few minutes." "A few minutes for what?" I asked. He hesitated, never a good sign. "To decide what you're willing to risk, and what you're willing to lose." The darkness around us felt colder, like the warehouse knew something we didn't. The warehouse felt colder by the second, like the walls were holding their breath with us. Kevin slid down onto an old crate, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Bro, I can't do this." I'm legit shaking. I sat beside him. "Yeah, well, welcome to my world." My anxiety just filed a complaint against me. Daniels stood in front of us, hands on his hips, pacing like a man trying to pick the least terrible option from a menu full of disasters. His face had that look, like he'd been carrying a secret so long it hurt to say it. "All right," he finally muttered. "You need to know the part I left out." Kevin and I exchanged glances. Great, because everything so far had been sunshine and rainbows. Daniels exhaled sharply. "Those men chasing you? They're not just some random crew.